Alright guys, welcome to another video. Before I dive into this guys, you know the usual drill. If you're new and watching for the first time, please consider subscribing. It helps me out a ton guys. Smash the subscribe button. Do it for me. If you're already a subscriber guys, make sure you hit the notification bell so you know the next time I smash out content. And if you did like today's content, post some comments down below guys. Give me a thumbs up and share it out to YouTube universe. Let's beat these algorithms. Let's dive into this. Why men and alpha males have a burden of performance. Guys, what is a burden of performance? Basically, it is as it says. You have the burden, you have the responsibility, you have the issue, you have the responsibility basically of performing in life as a man, okay, and compared to females that don't need to have a burden of performance, guys, to survive in life. So let me give you examples of why I say men have the burden of performance in society nowadays, guys. If you look just in general all around you, in general, in terms of workplace, in general, in terms of the dating scene, in general, in terms of social hierarchy, general in terms of likability, general in terms of self-esteem, general in terms of income, in terms of job placement, in terms of being a successful person. Men have a more difficult time of this because they are measured on their performance. They are measured on performance and not given any entitlement, whereas women don't have a burden of performance in that way, guys. All right, and this is not to be in the sexist term. This is not to judge women or anything they're doing. That's not my intention. All right, they just don't. This is just the way society is. Women don't have the burden of performance. Let me give you an example why I'm saying that. Okay, so let's look at the dating game. All right. Females control the dating game, guys, nowadays. Look at the dating game in general. Look at where people are dating. Look at social media, Instagram. Basically, Instagram, guys, is not what it is. It's a dating. It's basically a dating website. All right. That some people might use it for business, but predominantly it is for dating. Right. Instagram. That's my opinion. All right. All these other dating apps, all these other dating websites, so women control that, okay? They control the dating game because they pick and choose, even if they're a 4 or a 5 in looks, 200 pounds overweight, they'll still control the dating game because there's so many low value incels and beta male simps out there that have caused this in society. And that's another video for another day on this channel. So they control the dating game. It's easier for them to get mates. They don't need to get men. They don't need to look the best. They don't need to be 9s or 10s. They don't need to be in their complete youth, 19, 20, 21, to attract men. They have no burden on performance in general of that. It's just the dating structure. They can get men through dating apps and they can set the rules for dating. Even when they don't fit the standard, they are not the standard of female that should be in that position. Guys, if you look at these dating apps, it's even dating websites, even 4 or 5s have probably got 200 DMs. Even £200 women have DMs of 200 men ready to take them on board and be their knight in shining armor, okay? So, and even a single mother, or even a woman that stated like for the last 10 years will settle down with a beta male simp. She will easily find a beta male simp because there's plenty out there that will help her settle down, pay her bills for the next 10, 20 years. And she's only settling with him because the alpha male doesn't want her, okay? So that's one example of why females have it easier and men have a burden of performance in this way, because they don't have the pick and choose of the litter of females. Females control the dating game. So a man to be successful in the dating game, guys, he has to be 6 foot, he has to make 6 figures, guys, and he must have to be high value, right? And there's not a lot of guys out there that are doing that at the moment, so he has a burden of performance to fulfill all these things, to even have a chance nowadays, guys, in modern society, to get himself a decent partner, or a decent female, or a female that's 9 or 10 and looks alright. So he's got the burden of performance with that. That man has to go and work on himself. That man has to go out there, work hard. That guy has to go, you know, make himself look better, maybe go to the gym, maybe keep his body in check, maybe train 4 or 5 days a week, you know, maybe really keep his fitness regime to the T. Okay, work 10 times harder, work in his businesses, make the money, make the six figures before he can get that female. Whereas a female will float in at £200 and she will claim the man. All right, this is just the way the dating goes. So that's one example, and I'm only going into this to show you what I mean about why men have a burden of performance. So that's one area of it. Okay, so they have a burden of performance in that aspect. Secondly, in social and society, guys, all right, men also have a burden of performance socially. All right, a lot of men's self-esteem and men's position in life is based on their social hierarchy. Okay, they're the 3 facets: social hierarchy, their income, social income, social status, right? Social income, social status, and basically looks in general. So these kind of the 3 kind of facets of you know, high value men. So this is basically what men have to deal with, and that's why they have the burden of performance in the social hierarchy. If they've not got 20,000 followers on Instagram, guys, they have to work damn hard to get those 20,000 followers on Instagram. And for men to build up an Instagram page compared to females is seriously difficult. So they have to work hard at that. They have a burden of performance to be socially more popular. They have a burden of performance to have a social status, and this is what females look for, is social status, guys. Okay, a lot of men that don't have a lot of social status, they find life very difficult. Thirdly, we have a burden of performance, guys, in the workplace. We have a burden of performance as men in general. Men are seen as as leaders, as the breadwinners. Men have to work and be leaders and be breadwinners, but not all of them, guys. Not the beta male simps out there, not the beta male, the manginas, the low value males. That's not a problem for them, but men that do want to be higher value men have this burden of performance to go out there and achieve a success. All right, so we have the burden of performance from that, because, guys, men will generally be looked down upon if they don't have these 3 facets in place. So they're always having the burden of performance to achieve success, to have a path and purpose, to achieve whatever goals and dreams they have, or their field of work or their field of skills. They have the burden of performance to be the best of that, where the female doesn't need to, because externally things are much easier for her. Things are much easier for her to survive in life, whereas a man's survival is based on his burden of performance. Men will find it very, very difficult to survive if they do not have the burden of performance, or they do not fulfill the burden of performance, guys. They will be very, very unhappy. This is why it leads to a lot of men through depression, a lot of men through anxiety, a lot of men going down dark paths, okay, because they can't fulfill their burden of performance. They can't fulfill their, get the partners they want. They can't fulfill the burden of performance on their income levels, their job. They can't fulfill the burden of performance on their social status. You know, some of them might not even be born with that many good features. You know, they might not be that attractive looking, and that makes it even worse for them. All right. You know, some of these bad boys may get away with it because they have the looks, all right. So they may not need to fill all these burden of performances, so the Chads and the Tyrones, but in general, most men will have the burden of performance. So in saying this, guys, this is why men have the burden of performance, and it's always going to be that way. It's never going to be in their favor. Even if you look at the court systems, even if men that go through divorces, the court is going to nail them. Okay, it's going to nail them. All right, in the court systems, whereas the female will take them for 6. The female will be given through court systems. But certainly know in America, they've got a clause in America where the women will be penultimately protected. I can't remember the clause of it. I discussed it in my Sylvester Stallone video. Check that out about Sylvester Stallone's divorce. And the court systems have this kind of clause where the women will be compensated, you know, as per her survival or as per her needs or something ridiculous like that, okay? So, and this doesn't happen to men. Once men getting a divorce and everything's taken off them, which courts will favour, most of the women are favoured, they will have to go out there and survive. They may lose everything and then have the burden of performance to build that all up again. Nobody's going to help them, whereas females will be given all that from the court. So in general, guys, this is why men have the burden of performance. This is just some of the examples I've given you guys to explain what I mean by why men have the burden of performance, all right? In society nowadays, it's very tough, and that's why we have that burden of performance, because we have to fit certain criteria, guys, to be successful in life. Is not handed to us on a plate, and it's always been this way, okay? It's maybe been shadowed, it's maybe been filtered down by the narrative or the feminist narrative, okay? I need to watch what I'm saying here because I'm not sure if this will get flagged, but the women's emancipation, women's rights, women's equality, okay, has maybe shadowed the burden of performance that men that still have today in societies, and that's not spoken about a lot because that's all you hear about. So, and within saying that, guys, this is why men have a burden of performance. So, so we have to keep struggling, striving on, and trying to fulfill our burden of performance. It's never easy, guys, but in saying that, it's good in a way because it builds character, it builds development, it builds path and purpose, it builds progress, and it makes you stronger as a man. Okay, guys, with that said, I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you got some value out of this. Hope you understand a bit about the burden of performance. I hope you understand why men have a burden of performance, because that's my intention, to give you value in these videos and not just pop out nonsense content. Okay, I want to give you value in them, guys. It really does help me if you subscribe to the channel and give it a thumbs up and post some comments down below. I really appreciate it. It helps me beat these YouTube algorithms, and we are doing well. With that said, guys, I'm going to let this one go. I hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching. If you did watch it to the end, through to the end, because there's a lot of YouTube videos out there. Okay, till the next time, guys. Thanks for watching. It's Shiraz out. See you soon.